I guess with our singers, if we want to do an honoring song, and usually what we do, President, is we'll do the song. You can stand up here, and we'll come shake your hand, and then you can do the words after that. So. Wopua singers, President Shortbull Wopua.
Well, first of all, I want to thank the Oglala Sioux tribe. You know, you've been very important to the development of our tribal college. In March 4th, 1971, Gerald Onefeather took the proposal to establish a tribal college to the Oglala Sioux tribe. And he said, he always got interesting information from Gerald. He said, you know, before I took it to the council, I went on the hill and prayed. And people like Jake Little Thunder were strong supporters of this tribal college. And I think the thing that you have to realize is that, you know, the college does a really good job for our people on this reservation. And at some point in time, I'm going to tell you that I think our college, based on what the tribe authorized, is probably the greatest college in this country, not just among the tribal colleges and other minority serving institutions. And I'll explain that a little bit later. But the other thing that's important is who were the founders of our college. People like Gerald Onefeather, Geraldine Janice. You know, I was president for 4 years and we had a disagreement, and I always say that what got me through the 16 years that I wasn't president of the college was my wife, Darlene. She was a registered nurse, and so I was semi-unemployed. And one of the service unit directors used to say about me is that he's a go-getter. He goes and takes her to work, and then at 5 o'clock, he comes and gets her and takes her home. So that's kind of my history. But the thing about the college is that the founders always wanted the college to be two-faceted. One was to get the academic credentials to hold the jobs on this reservation, such as teachers, such as nurses, such as social workers. But he also said, and he gave a speech, and I always thought it was really interesting, but he said the other thing that we want is they need to know who they are as Lakota people. And so we have a requirement. We're the only college in this country of the tribal colleges. We require 15 hours in Lakota studies, the language, the treaties, our ceremonies. And so that's been really important. I think the thing that was most interesting is we were getting ready for an accreditation visit. And they brought these people down from South Dakota State University, and they talked to the students, and they said, do you realize it's going to take you another year, year and a half to get your degree? Are you okay with that it's going to take you longer by having to take these 15 hours of Lakota studies? And they said, absolutely, we are for that. We need to know who we are as Lakota people. And the speech that Gerald gave, they only had one of these. It was supposed to be a lecture series. He was his first speaker. And I always remember him saying, a lot of our Indian people go to college and they get lost and they fall off the cliff. And that's what he was referencing. And they lose their way. That's because they don't have that grounding in who we are as Lakota people. And he said that's what he always appreciated about OLC. The other thing that I want you to be aware of is that Tom Ellen writes a lot of proposals, as he does other programs across the reservation. And he said, whenever I needed a letter of support from the tribal president, he always got it. And he's been able to bring in over $500 million to our college. But the major thing that you have to understand is how great the American system of higher education is. You know, the people, I was just talking to Kevin here, and we were talking about the Chinese leader. He was actually educated in the United States. Xi Jinping, I think is his name. And where do you think the Arab that have all these money, where do you think they go to college? They come to the United States. And it's not, and the reason is the colleges in this country do not adhere to anything other than the pursuit of education. And that's really important. So in regards to accreditation, the situation is that there's called academic freedom. Everything is about academic freedom. If you went to Russia, they're only going to learn what Putin wants you to learn. If you come to America's colleges, you'll learn whatever you want to learn about. And a good example of that, when they had the World Trade Center bombings, there were a couple faculty that came out and said, well, this happened because of how America treats the Muslims in the Middle East. Now, if that was said by someone in some other country, they would have been fired, especially the Middle East countries. So there's a provision in our accreditation with the Higher Learning Commission, and that is we have to maintain our independence. So that means governments too. So like the state of South Dakota does not run the state colleges in this state. It's run by the State Board of Regents. The exact same thing happens on the Pine Ridge Reservation. The charter set out that the Board of Trustees will have responsibility of the college. And in the 50 years, we really appreciate that the tribe has adhered to that you let the board make the decisions for the operations of the college. And, you know, one of the first things that we got involved in, and I had to ask for an advisory visit, and so we had a team come down, and the board was involved, and they were the hearing officers, and they came out and said that the board had to get out of the day-to-day operations of personnel. And if the employees have grievances, and I understand that the council itself has the same system now, is that you have a hearing officer hear complaints. And so when Newton said that if employees called him or faculty or staff, he would always tell them, I can't hear what you have to say. We have a process to hear grievances. And so that's what is so critically important, is that has helped us be the strong institutions that we are. Now let me give you some statistics about our tribal college and why I think it's so great. So there's this diverse issues in higher education, top producers of Native American degrees. And this not only includes the tribal colleges, it also includes places like USD, University of New Mexico, University of Minnesota, Arizona State. And this is how we rank compared to all colleges in the United States and tribal colleges. So in our AA and general business, we are ranked second in the nation in producing graduates. In our BS and business administration, we are ranked 7th in the nation. In education, our AA in elementary education and early childhood, we are ranked 3rd in the nation. Our BS in elementary education, BA in early childhood, and BS in K-12 Lakota Studies education, we are rated 4th in the nation. The Lakota Studies, this would be Indian Studies at other colleges, our AA in Lakota Studies we're number 1. The AA in Tribal Law, we're number 1. The BA in Lakota Studies, we're number 2 in the nation. The BS in Natural Sciences, we're 14th. That's our math and science program. Our AA in Nursing, 12th in the nation. Our Bachelors of Social Work, 12th in the nation. And our AAS in Automotive Technology, we're 5th in the nation. Our AAS in General Construction, AAS in Electrical Technology, we're number 2. Now, how do we rank among the other tribal colleges over the last 2 years? And when I say tribal college, and this is what is critically important, we don't exist unless we are chartered by the tribe of a particular reservation. And that's important because Gerald and I think Edwin fills a pipe. What were they always talking about? Indian control. And Indian control exists with not only a board, but a president that is a member of his tribe. So over the last 2 years, with our associate degrees, we are second among the tribal colleges. That was 2018, 2019. Among the tribal colleges, we were third in bachelor's degrees. In master's degrees, we were second. We were number one with our master's degree in Lakota leadership. You know what's really interesting about Lakota leadership? If you take the Cheyenne River Reservation, if you take the Rosebud Reservation, and you take Pine Ridge, the tribal presidents today either were graduates of our college or went to college there. Kevin was a student at OLC. What's the president at Cheyenne River? Harold Frazier got his bachelor's degree in business administration. And the last two tribal presidents at Rosebud, and you know how we like to tease the Rosebudders, you can't really get a good education unless you come to OLC. And that's true because Rodney Bordeaux received his master's degree in Lakota leadership, and the current president is, Scott Herman. And he got, in that class of 2011, produced some exceptional talent. Those two plus Dr. Don Frank got their master's degree from OLC. So in 2019, 2020, we were number one in associate degrees among the tribal colleges. With bachelor's degrees, we were number one among the tribal colleges, and among the master's degree among the tribal colleges, we were second. So that's the reason. And when you think that the students that we serve come from the second and third poorest counties in the United States. Cheyenne River, their county up there is second, and Shannon County here is number 3. And so who has the most impact? If you go to Harvard or you go to Yale and all these other places, if you come from a wealthy family, that's not a big deal that you got a degree. But if you come to Oglala Lakota College and get a degree, that means something because we are changing the dynamics of this reservation so more people have jobs, and jobs that they enjoy. And I always have more of a regard for the nursing program because my wife got a 2-year degree in nursing, and I know as a man who had to teach classes, I taught adjunct classes. My wife was a major breadwinner, and the other thing that's so important about women is that they are the heart and soul of a family. I right now grieve for my personnel director. She lost her son. Can you imagine how terrible that is for a woman who loses their son? But that's what a mother means to their family. She said her son called her every day and said, "Mom, how are you? I love you." That's what our women mean to us, among us as Indian people. And so the other thing that makes us important or highly regarded is 15 years ago, William Gates funded a study of the 32 top colleges in this country that were beating the odds and providing degrees to Lakota people, to people from impoverished backgrounds. There was only one tribal college among those 32 tribal colleges, and that was Oglala Lakota College. So with your help and your assistance through the years, we become, I believe, the greatest college in this country. And I thank you for your support, and I appreciate this recognition today. Thank you.
Councilman Carlo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now it's my time to brag. You know, I grew up with 6 sisters, the greatest mother on earth, and the greatest aunts. Women have always been in my life, and I have no choice but to listen to them. You know, my mother made us go to school, whether it was storming out or not. We walked up to Pine Ridge High School, Oglala Community School, you know, and we walked home. When you played sports up there, there was no buses that ran in the evening. If you was a day scholar, you walked home. You know, I'm proud to say that I was a graduate of Pine Ridge High School. Today, every one of my kids has a degree. 3 of my kids have master's degree, and my baby girl is working on her doctorate degree. So education is so important to all of our membership today, and the strides that this college has made. I think, you know, under Tom's leadership, we have to more than applaud him. In this honor, and today, I'm exceptionally proud that I'm part of it. You know, NBA players, they say they have a 48-inch vertical jump when they do a jump shot. I'm going to reiterate what Tom said. If it wasn't for my cousin Darlene, he wouldn't be here today and where he's at. She was the backbone and the motivation behind him. When Darlene said jump, Tom said how high. So, you know, I just want to personally thank you, Tom. And, you know, as you pass the torch on, I just want to say too, you know, this is one charter that the tribal council never ever got engaged in where, you know, they played politics with it. And that's the reason too for their success. So in saying goodbye, Tom, you know, enjoy retirement, and please don't be on that golf course every day. Give my cousin a little of your time, okay? Thank you.
Councilman Yellowboy?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, I had the privilege of being a board member for OLC, and I was young, and my first interaction with President Shortbull at that time was our center director was being replaced, and I wanted to know why. And our temporary center director was Miss Chrisanne Smallwood there, and so that's my first interaction with President Shortbull. And after that, you know, we had a open dialogue and having good conversations when we would speak. And you know, in all my years I attended OLC, I have the intentions of going back. And on the way coming in, I was visiting with President Shortbull, and after we had some plans made of me going back and being on the board after my term of being on council, and unfortunately he won't be the president. And you know, he's got some exceptional leadership and was willing to compromise at times when compromising was needed, and came out with good intentions. And so with that, I want to say thank you for your years of service to the Oglala Lakota College, and wish you well wishes and many trips to the golf course, like Councilman Carlo reiterated there. And I wish Dr. Dawn Frank best of wishes in her new endeavors here at OLC. So thank you.
Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mr. President. I also want to just say thank you to Mr. Shortbull and say, you know, I know that you worked at the college for many years, and I didn't have the opportunity to work under your leadership. I think I left the college, I think right after you started working as president. But I also want to say thank you for your leadership in the college, because you brought it this far, and I think it's running well. I think with the statistics you just gave us, it really shows, what it took, to have a good leader in there and have a good team of people working with you. I just want to say also that I feel that education is very important in my life, and I think that I'm a proud graduate of Oglala Lakota College. I did receive my bachelor's degree in business in 1996. My children are also graduates of Oglala Lakota College. My oldest is a graduate with her bachelor's degree in social work. And now I got my second oldest that is currently in college getting her degree here this coming June. So I'm very proud of the college here because I think it's very accessible to our tribal members, our young people. And I think if there's anything that us as tribal leaders can do is to make it so that our people can graduate and come to work for us. And we always say, come back and work for the tribe when you get your degree. So I think that we need to open that up to our people, especially graduating here at Oglala Lakota College. So I just wanted to say thank you. I almost had the opportunity to work for you, if you remember. And, I took another job at that time, and I just want to say that I think if I did, I believe that I would have probably had some good working experience working with you, and I just want to thank you for that, and thank you for running the college in a good way. Wopila.
Thank you. Anything else? Again, President, we appreciate, everything that you've done, and, I've had the fortune to serve on the board with you and under your leadership with Councilman Ironclad and Councilman Hopkins, because I was trying to remember how, we all kind of interconnected there, but also that's when Newton Cummings was there. So, we just had a really good foundation of leadership, and it really helps at a young age too. As I was in my, not young, but later 20s, mid 20s. But, you were just always there for students, and I just always appreciated that, any student can go up to you and talk to you and, and just, you hear them out. And I know that's how you were, and you always do it fair, do it in a good way. And again, just enjoy yourself, enjoy your time. Thank you for all your service, and anything you need from us, just let us call on us. Welcome, President.